Very nice. You guys sound terrific. Nice to have you all back together again. Give us a call tomorrow night. Well, last time we got 200,000 telephone calls, but don't be a jerk and call it 180 times, because every time you get the tape, it's going to cost you $50. But we would like to talk to you here on the phone, and something going on back there. Shh, can you hear that? Having drinks or something back there. My first guest tonight has been in show business for over 50 years. He has made 131 motion pictures and can currently be seen in Woody Allen's The Purple Rose of Cairo. He is also starring on Broadway in La Cage aux Folles. He took over my old part in that. Please welcome Van Johnson. Hi, Van. Pleasure to meet you. How are you? Come right over and over. Oh, right there. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're holding your ears there.
You know, the next generation, Mr. Letterman, are going to be born deaf. As my grandmother back in Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. He didn't mention me, Rhode Island. They are going to
Are
be
you
born
from
deaf,
Rhode Island?
Deaf, Newport, Rhode Island. What?
Yes. So, now, what was all that commotion back there? Were you responsible for all of that?
Well, I was trying to tell the soundman, I said, you know, the next generation is going to be born deaf. And I was watching you on the monitor, and there you were. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I got to get to the palace. What do you got in your mind? Why is it 1:15? Is it like time flies? All right, well, talk to me.
What do you want to talk about?
La Cage aux Folles at the Palace Theater.
Okay. Now, what time does the show start? What time does the curtain go up, as
The
they
curtain
say?
goes up with me at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got half the makeup on now, but I haven't got the drag on.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not the part I played. No, George Hearn plays the other part.
Right.
And it's a wonderful company, David. Why do I have to keep looking around this way when the camera's over there?
No, you're supposed to look into the camera.
Oh, I am?
There you go, just like that.
You're telling me how to look into a camera after 131 pictures? David, where are you from?
Indianapolis,
Indianapolis. I played the Lyric Theater a split week.
Now, I don't know what
you
that
were
means.
born.
What does a split week mean?
3 days.
3 days?
4 days.
So it's like a half a week.
But that half a week,
Yeah,
split week.
split week.
Buster West and I on an old vaudeville act.
Yeah.
But I have also
What did you do in your vaudeville act?
Sang, danced, talked. Mm-hmm. Nothing stops me. David.
It goes much quicker when we're both talking, doesn't it?
I played Robert Young in Indianapolis at the Starlight Open Air Theater there. You know, marvel. I love Indianapolis.
Oh, it's a great
They've
city.
got a great Jewish restaurant, Mrs. Schroeder, Mrs. Shapiro's, and Mrs. Dodd's lemon meringue pies. But back to the palace, I've got Sarah Bernhardt's old dressing room, and she's still there.
No, she's not. Now, how do you know?
Elevator. She rattles around. She changes my makeup table. I know when she's mad at me if I haven't done a good show, because my makeup table is all.
She comes in and fusses things up.
And they have a
bit.
little elevator that they built for Miss Bernhardt, and they have a vault where she was paid in gold each night, folks, before she went on, which is, I'm starting that this Thursday.
She, what year was this that she was collecting her pay in gold?
1900, the year I was born.
And they would give her just a sack of coins, or?
She was paid in gold, David.
Yeah.
Truly. And I don't blame her. Some of the management today. Not mine. I'm very happy with my management. I hope they're happy with me. But I think the genius of Alan Carr to have found La Cage aux Folles, and the genius of Arthur Lawrence who directed.
No, wait a minute. Alan Carr.
I'll finish the story if it kills me. What is it, David?
Nothing. I was going to say you're calling Alan Carr a genius. Does he actually strike you as a man who is a
I
genius?
think the man who found the story is a genius. Mm-hmm. I think Arthur Lawrence is a genius.
See, now, to me, like Einstein was a genius. I think
Einstein is a... Yeah.
He's no Alan Carr, no, but he's not bad.
But he's alive. But Arthur Lawrence is a genius because he's one of the finest directors I've ever worked with, and we meet so late in life, and I only had 3 weeks rehearsal with this wonderful company who have surrounded me with love and warmth and cooperation. And starting with the great George Hearn, whom I've never met before.
You know,
I'll finish the next story tomorrow, folks. What, David? Speak to me. Talk to me.
No, it's just that we have so little time, and let's talk about other things. We know you're in the play, and
Johnson show.
So on and so forth. Yeah.
What else is there to talk about?
Well, I was going to mention you've been in 131 films. The most recent of which, I guess, is Purple Rose of Cairo. Is that the most recent?
That's the one I finished just before I started La Cage aux Folles.
Yeah.
I've never.
Now, have you seen Purple Rose of Cairo?
No, I haven't. When do I get time to go to the movies?
I don't know. Now, of the 131, how many have you not seen?
About half of them.
Is that right?
I have to make them. Do I have to see them? No, all those years at MGM, and I was there for 20 years. Where's the montage?
No, we'll dub this in later.
Right.
In editing, we'll take care of this.
All right, because I want them back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from New England. I saved everything. My first nickel. This is an old suit of Keenan Wins. Play with that one for a minute, folks. All right. No, I haven't seen Purple Rose of Cairo.
Now, let me ask you another question. Now, when you were doing a film, see if one comes to mind, and during the middle of the film you thought to yourself, boy, this is awful, it's just going to be horrible, and then later when it was released through editing or whatever, it turned out, in fact, to be a great film. Did that ever happen to you?
Always. Every 131 of them.
No.
Yes, nobody can tell. Nobody wants to make a bad picture. Nobody wants to put on a bad show. You don't know until you get in front of the people, and they tell you. And I also say they make a star. I don't think any amount of pictures in Photoplay magazine are going to put a star over it if those people out there don't buy you.
It's word of mouth.
And so I thank you for putting me in this chair today. Think about that.
Do you remember a movie that you look back on now out of the 131 that you just makes you wince, that was really...
Well, why don't we think of the good ones? Why negative, David?
Well, I thought we'd start with the bad and then work to the good.
No, there's too many bad ones.
All right, then pick out a good one.
I'll pick out a good one. May I have 5, 4 or 5? Because out of
your 5 best.
Well, the K Mutiny, Battleground.
Yeah.
The last time I saw Paris with Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah.
End of the Affair with Deborah Carr. Did I mention the K Mutiny with Bogart? I think that's about it.
Yeah.
And 23 Patients to Baker Street. I was blind. I think I was blind. Then I was an alcoholic in the picture. And a priest, another one. I guess that's about it. Battleground.
That's a pretty impressive list, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me, when we get back, I want to ask you about Elizabeth Taylor.
I want to ask you about Elizabeth Taylor.
All right, please do. We'll be right back here with Van Johnson. Johnson is here. Now, you mentioned Elizabeth Taylor. Now, is it true that you were the first actor to kiss Elizabeth Taylor in a film?
And the last.
No. You're the first actor to kiss her in a film.
Yes, it was a picture called The Big Hangover. And it was the first shot after lunch, and she was very young then, of course. And they said, so I kissed her, and she had onions on her breath. She's always got onions on her breath. But on her, they taste good. No, it was, she had her, but she's a wonderful girl. Nobody wants to know the good things Elizabeth Taylor does.
Well, tell us some good things about her.
Well, I can tell you plenty of good things about Elizabeth Taylor. When she was making Cleopatra in Rome, they had a beautiful villa just outside of Cinecittà Studios, and some of the poor Italian farmers would come to her kitchen door there for food. And she gave blanket orders to all the help and her staff. She said, never turn anybody away, give them all the food that they want. And she was feeding half the Italian countryside. Yeah. And she has done a lot of benevolent things that nobody knows about, but they don't want to write about those things.
Do you see her much nowadays?
As often as I can. She's beautiful, more beautiful to me than ever. I never knew people had... she has violet eyes. Unbelievable eyes. I remember when she and Angela Lansbury came over from England, and there was one other English girl came over at the same time. And, you know, we all knew that they had it. But Elizabeth grew up overnight. She was crazy for animals. Yeah. And still is. But she does a lot of good work. And Angela, of course, is a big hit with Murder, She Wrote, which I just finished.
Yeah. Tell me about, you also work with Clark Gable. You were pretty good friends with him, weren't you?
Yes. Why, what are you approaching? What, he left me in his will?
What was it like to be...
I'll tell you what he left me in his will, David. I led you right into that one, didn't I?
Well,
he left me his girdle and his 4-day diet. You want it? You don't need it.
And what was the...
a lot of laughs.
What was the...
We'll take that out in New Haven.
What was the 4-day diet?
Oh, I can't go into all that now, but I've got a copy of it if you want it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think we'd like to have
4
that.
days. But it's a crash.
Uh-huh.
But the girdle is more important because that's what I wear on stage every day. It's just, I wrap myself in saran wrap, 4 yards of it, and then so I can look like you. Then at night when I get home, I cut it off with the fact to be careful how you cut. You can lose a few things. And the sweat just pours off.
Yeah.
It's a great way to lose.
Now let's go back to Clark Gable. Now, aside from him leaving you the diet and the girdle and so forth, what sort of fellow was he off screen?
Oh, he was a
nice
charm.
guy.
Of course, only nice people worked at MGM.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that. I loved L.B. Mayer, Mr. Mayer. He was my boss. I respected him. I feared him. I did what I was told. And well, look at the products he turned out. But I don't understand some of these actors who were there who criticized the man and didn't get along with him. I did everything I was told. But Gable was very
Now, what
conscious
kind of things
his
were you
image.
told?
Behave yourself.
Now, what did that mean, though, behaving yourself?
Do what we tell you. Do the pictures we tell you to. And I said, well, after all, Mr. Mayor, you've been here longer than I have. I'll do what you tell me.
Yeah.
My pal was Spencer Tracy, though. He had that great Irish wit, that great Irish humor. And I would go to his house a couple of times a month for dinner, and he knew all the... He was my mentor, is my mentor, and I learned more from Spencer Tracy than I did from a lot of actors. I think he knew more than what most actors are trying to find and learn today.
Yeah. You didn't do a lot...
Yes, I did, all the time. What?
Something's gone terribly wrong here, hasn't it?
What, David? Talk to me.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I think we're about out of time anyway. I think so. Let me find out. Hal, how much time do we have left?
What the hell with him? 30 seconds.
We have 30 seconds left.
Over Tokyo.
Yeah. Anything?
Think about that, folks. 30 seconds over nothing. Oh, my God.
Anything you want to mention in the last 15 seconds here?
Yes, La Cage aux Folles.
Oh, my gosh.
Palace Theater with the great George Hearn. It's a happy show. It's a magical show. No lot of words, no nudity. And it's like the old Follies days.
All right. Nice to meet you, Van.
It was?
Yes, it was. Thank you very much. We'll pause here for station identification. Very nice, Paul. Tomorrow on this program, let me tell you who's going to be here. Gallagher will be here, and also Howard Cosell and a woman by the name of Beulah Bear. What does Beulah do? She lives in a hotel. This is that 2-hour special we've been talking about. Beulah will be here tomorrow. Lives in a hotel in New York City? All right, so you want to circle the TV guide. Did I mention I'm trying to buy out CBS? Something's wrong here tonight, isn't it, Paul? And it's me, isn't it?
No, it's not you.
Well, what is it? Something's not quite right, is it?
It's the first day of the baseball season, and it's just, but it's fine.
It is fine?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What? There's a cold front. We just received word there's a cold front coming in.
Into the studio?
Yeah.
I think the cold front just left.
Just left. So it's going to be up.
Beulah Bear will be here tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. She lives in a hotel. Tell the kids at breakfast what they can look forward to tomorrow night. A woman who actually... I know someone else who lives in a hotel, if the truth be known. Howard Cosell will be here tomorrow, comedian Gallagher and Beulah Bear. Well, let's get on with the show, shall we? How are you?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm humbled, actually.
You're humbled.
Yeah. I'm humbled by the experience of you know what I'm humbled by.
Paul.
Yeah.
Now you were here last night for the show, obviously.
I was here, yeah.
Our first guest was legendary film star Van Johnson.
A legend.
Now, something went wrong there, didn't it?
There was a certain chemistry, I will say that, between the two of you.
Now, it was my fault. Don't you think? Was it my fault or what?
All right, I may be able to shed some light on this because I can see the people when they come in.
Yeah.
From the wings. He looked over at the band while we were playing, and he did this.
What did he say?
Well,
was
you
that?
just mouthed those words.
What were the words? I couldn't...
Should I repeat? Well, you know, I don't want to say profanity, but
Oh, well,
you know,
no, don't say that. But what was the essence of what he was saying?
too loud.
Oh, the band is too loud. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then immediately reverting and doing a thing like that. Then he came on holding, you know, but with his hands in, you know, over, you know.
Oh,
doing
over
a
his
thing.
ears, that's right.
Yeah, so, you know. But he was,
You know, last week... Dear Dave, letter number 5 begins, I just watched your show on April 8th with Van Johnson. I've never seen him on a talk show before. I guess all the other talk show hosts decided not to have him on. They were a lot smarter than you, weren't they? And it comes to us from Tony McMichael, Winter Haven, Florida. Well, were they smarter, Tony? I remember just before the taping of that show, I was approached by Special Agent Convoy of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
We believe we can smash the Soviet spy ring if this afternoon we can somehow detain their leader. In the Kremlin, he's called the Snow Shovel, but you know him as Van Johnson. What have you done?
Yeah, well, you know, I'd love to help, but that's when we tape our show.
Exactly.
Oh, no, him? Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, call Merv or Johnny or somebody. No, forget it.
They've refused to help us. We suspect they're involved in a conspiracy to overthrow the government. Dave, we can't force you to help us. We can only say your country needs you.
Oh, all right. Did you buy those glasses on the street?
Anything you want to mention in the last 15 seconds here?
Yes, La Cage au Fond.
Oh, my gosh.
Palace Theater with the great George Hearn. It's a happy show. It's a magical show. No letter words, no nudity. And it's like the old Follies days.
All right. Nice to meet you, Van.
It was?
Yes, it was. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, Comrade Johnson. Slowly losing the will to live. You've done pretty darn well, though. Like you mentioned, the films you've been in have been pretty successful.
I'm doing all right. Purple Rose is...
Yeah. Can currently be seen in Purple Rose. I'd love to ask you about Van Johnson. But we don't have time for that, unfortunately, but we will be right back with Jeff Daniels. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pause here and take attendance. We'll be right back. Michael Keaton is here tonight. Hugh Hefner is here. And another liquor license
Welcome to the show. Please give me a call. I'll sing you a song. I know them all. I'm Johnny Graham. Hi. Welcome to the Johnny Graham Piano Request Show. Boy, I hope you're all doing well on this blistery night tonight. Now, is it blistery or blustery? Does anyone know? Blistery or blustery? Well, thanks a lot, fellas. Well, let's just say it's Long John weather. I had a marvelous weekend. I finished a 3-week engagement at a wonderful new cabaret down on West 48th Street. It's a new place called My Mama's Attic. And if any of you are familiar with cabarets in New York, My Mama's Attic used to be another wonderful cabaret called Dump Trucks. And we had some marvelous times there. So Dump Trucks is closed, unfortunately, though, and we hope sometime, somewhere, maybe they can find a lease somewhere else in Manhattan. I mean, come on, folks. Let's take a call. Hi, Graham.
Hey, what's up, Johnny?
Well, hey, what's up? Who's this?
This is Little E from Castle Hill.
Little League?
No, Little E.
Little E. Well, what can I do for you, Little E?
Could you play Funky Cold Medina by Tony
Funky Cold, I don't know. Is that what is that? Is that a Rodgers and Hart or Jerome Kern?
No, it's Tone Loc.
Okay, I'm going to have to cut you off right now because I'm afraid you're going to start cursing. You know, after 10 years of doing this show, you start to get a sixth sense about these things. Well, I don't have the tune that the gentleman requested, but I do have a compromise for him. I think he'll enjoy it as much as I do. Hello, Dolly, well, hello. Little Lee, it's so nice to have you back where you belong. Well, that was for you, Little Lee. Hi, it's Graham.
Yeah, let me talk to Amber or Cherry. I'd
Well-
like to describe my fantasy.
Well, there's no one named Amber or Cherry here. This is the Johnny Graham Piano Request Show.
Oh, what are you wearing, Johnny?
Is it a full moon tonight? I don't know. By the way, I do want to remind everyone that October 15th through the 26th, I'll be at Mama's Hat Box, which is another new cabaret down in the village, performing my special fall review, which is called Pumpkins, Pumpkins, Pumpkins. So, hope to see you down there. A lot of orange paint down there, kids. Let's see who we have here. Hi, Graham.
Chris, Johnny, rather. It's Dave.
Oh, David Letterman. Well, I'm flattered. You know something? I have been wanting to ask you something for years now. Why were you so mean to Van Johnson when he was on your show? I mean, if I were him, I would have stood up and slapped you.
Okay. I tell you what, let's just wrap this up, Chris. I'm starting to run a fever, all right?
Whatever, Dave. Ciao, babe. Well, you know, I never really cared for his show. Here's a little song for Mr. David Letterman to go out on a special note, and also for our dearly departed dear friend, Mr. Irving Berlin. And I am embarrassed to mention those two names in the same breath, but here they go. Here we go. Hello, Dolly, well, hello. David, it's so nice to have you back where you belong. Ciao, God bless everyone. You're looking swell. Darling, I can tell. David, you're still